Welcome to Strange and Weird Experiences. My name is Adam. This is my first entry on my new YouTube channel. It is Thursday, March 3rd, 2022. This is episode titled The Disappearance of Tom Messick. Thomas Messick lived in Troy, New York. He went missing November 15th, 2015 on a Sunday. A little background on Thomas Messick. Tom was an 82-year-old Army veteran who served in the 82nd Airborne Division as a paratrooper. He's a very experienced hunter and survivalist trainer, and a woodsman. Messick had lost his right eye and had gotten over 150 stitches in his hand after an explosion in his 20s, and with the one eye he did have, it had poor vision. Along with poor vision and that one eye he had, he also suffered from heart problems, poor hearing, and recently had just gotten over shingles. Tom was unsure on participating this particular year in the yearly hunting trip that he had done for over 50 years with his friends. He, unfortunately, decided to go, and there has not been a trace of him since. Now, with a little background on Mr. Messick, let's get into this missing persons case. As stated before, Tom Messick went out on a Sunday, November 15, 2015, to go on a yearly hunting trip. He met up with 6 of his friends and family to do like they have done for many years in the past, except this time, they decided to go somewhere else they had not gone before. Instead of the usual spot at their hunting camp in Hague, New York, they decided to go to Lily Pond Road in Hurricane Warren County, New York, where Brant Lake is, which is part of the Lake George Wild Forest. This spot around the lake has been a popular hunting and fishing spot since the late 1800s. So with some hunters, they like to do this thing called pushing when a group of them are hunting together. A group of people, usually inexperienced or elderly, will sit in a certain location awaiting for deer to come to them as the other group moves the deer towards them. So after they had parked around lunchtime, the older men took off up Lily Pond Road with their rifles and walkie-talkies. They would turn off into the woods every 100 yards and enter the woods up to 30 to 40 yards. One of the senior friends was posted up near the lake, 2 were in the middle, and Tom was on the outside furthest away from everyone. The younger men headed to the opposite way up, starting up to the head of the hill until they found the snowmobile trail. They continued up the snowmobile trail for a bit and then started down the hill towards the Watchers. After a few hours, everyone went back to the parking lot as agreed upon earlier except Tom. They started calling on the walkie-talkies, calling for him, and they ended up heading back to his location searching for him. After firing their rifles in the air to help aid Tom if he was lost to follow the sound. They searched for him for several hours before contacting the forest rangers around 4:30 p.m. A search continued until around 7:30 p.m., then half of the search team left. The other half stayed, firing their rifles and honking their horns to attract Tom to them. Robbie, Tom's son, called his mother Beverly to let her know Tom had gone missing and not to worry, they would find him, but nothing came about that night. The next day, a bigger search party had came. Over 10 trained search and rescue professionals from the Park Service helped look, but again came up empty-handed. Beverly, Messick's wife, said if Tom was lost, he would have cut a piece of his jacket off and tied it to a tree. Over the next couple of weeks, there was a huge search going on with over 300 professionals and volunteers, including divers, canine units, multiple helicopters which used infrared, more than 15 agencies and over 40 jurisdictions, including the FBI. But why would the FBI there out searching for an elderly hunter? Very odd. Some of the terrain was harsh, including chest-high swamps. There were also caves and crevices. People were walking about hand's length apart, covering areas with string. Once covering one area, they would shift to the other side of the string and so on. They also did this on the opposite direction in case they had missed anything. All in all, over 4 square miles were covered. The official search ended on Thanksgiving, November 25th, 2015. All the hunters exclaimed there was a strange silence in the woods that day. There seemed to be no wildlife at all, not a squirrel or chipmunk, nothing. Searchers also recalled saying that same thing. One of Tom's friends, who was the second one up from the lake, Tom being about 200 yards away, his friend was one of the older men, so he said he remembered hearing a very strange noise he had never heard before in the woods, later describing it to his son, saying the sound was about 150 yards away between me and the pushers, and it sounded like a big steel trap slamming shut. Okay, so what are the possible predators in this area that could harm a full-size adult? There are coyote, black bear, red and gray fox, raccoon, fisher cat, and bobcat. If he is attacked and killed by one of these, there would have been something left behind. Torn clothing, blood, a boot, ground would have been disturbed, possible yelling or gunshots. So this is what we know. Tom was 82 years old. He had red and black checkered hat on, camo pants, duck boots, gloves, items on him. He had a rifle, 3 to 4 shells, walkie-talkie, and a snack. Location: Horicon, Warren County, Lake George Wild Forest, New York. Disability: poor eyesight and the one eye, poor hearing, just gotten over shingles. Familiar with area? No. New hunting area. Date missing: November 15, 2015. Last sighting: walking up Lily Pond Road, headed into the woods. Last people with: 6 friends and family. Any strange sound or smell? Steel trap slamming shut 150 yards away. So in my opinion, I don't think it was a person or persons who took and or harmed him. He didn't run off. If it was a person, there would have been signs of a struggle. There would have been something left behind, a boot or something, hat. Maybe there would have been gunshots, Tom defending himself. So I don't think that's a possibility. I honestly think it was either a rogue Bigfoot, dogman, crawler, I like to call them. Creepypasta calls them the rake, or something extraterrestrial, something along those lines. Like I said, I honestly don't think it was a person. It's too sketchy. There was nothing left behind, and until this day, they still haven't found one clue, and they covered over 4 square miles, and nothing came up. There are caves and crevices. People were saying there's a possibility that he could have fell in one of those. I'm not really sure if the professionals and volunteers actually looked in the caves and crevices, but not even a candy wrapper, snack wrapper, or whatever. Nothing. He just disappeared. So, like I said, I think it's either a rogue Bigfoot, dogman, crawler, or some extraterrestrial. But that's all I got today, folks. Thank you for listening to Strange and Weird Experiences with Adam. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see ya.